We are going to move on to the audit committee report. Vice Chair Hart, is that you reporting that out?
Jenny, can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
It's Norton. It's a yes.
Okay, that could you make sure that's recorded that Board Member Norton would be a yes on that, so that would be 13 for that. Okay, and we're going to go to the audit committee report. Vice Chair Hart, if you don't mind. Do you have something in front of you that you can do that? Okay.
If we just pull up the motion, I can make it. The audit committee wanted to forward a motion to add an audit of the USBE advisory committees to the audit plan. And like was described in the memo, internal audit it's time for them to be able to plan ahead their work. They are working on the attendance audit, the CTE audit, and the thought here is, it's time to take stock of our advisory committees, make sure that we're not wasting anybody's time. If we have them, we're able to get the information from them that we need, that the communication lines are clear, that they're needed, and that if they are needed, the constitution and the makeup of those committees and how often they meet and such are appropriate. It's just time that we reevaluate this. So the motion before us is to add an audit of the USBE advisory committees to the audit plan.
Okay, the motion before the body is that that the board add an audit of USB advisory committees to the audit plan. Any discussion? Okay, we'll go ahead and take that motion then. And you can go ahead and vote if you're in the audience here. I'm going to call a few names out. So, Board Member Klein.
Yes.
Is a yes. Vice Chair Hart.
Yes.
Board Member Hymas.
Yes.
I think, are we missing Davis still? Okay. Board Member Norton.
Yes.
And Board Member Wood.
Yes.
Okay, so that is unanimous with 14 in favor. We're missing Board Member Davis. Okay, let me look at my agenda here. Our next item is the monthly budget report. And so we will turn that over to Scott Jones, Deputy Superintendent of Operations, for that. So, you're pointing at Jim. Jim's going to give us the report, I guess. You're giving us the finance report?
I don't think so. You don't want that.
Okay. Yeah, monthly budget report. Yeah, go ahead.
Deputy Superintendent of Operations Scott Jones, if we could pull up the report for the board members and the committee to see. Again, this is an interactive report. Any board member can go in and click on a particular section or portion of the USBE budget to look at status of funds, revenue. I will say or attest that the Utah State Board of Education is fiscally responsible and sound. We can make all of our commitments and obligations, known commitments and obligations. Going forward, starting next month, and I know you just passed or adopted the MOU between the SESB and the USBE. I know it's pending signature still. Starting next month, we'll break out separately the SESB portion of the budget report, because now it becomes the onus is on them to attest to their financial stabilities. Our role is just simply to monitor that they're within the approved budget of the Utah State Board of Education and their expenditures are within the appropriate line items, or the expenses are allowable. So, subject to signature and finalization of the MOU starting next month, that will be a separate or separated out from this. It'll still be the same tool unless the SCSB decides to use a different tool, much like the USDB does. But it all, we're all part of the same financial system, which is FINET, the state system. So I just wanted to make sure to update you on that particular portion. So subject to any questions or concerns, that concludes the monthly budget report portion. And I can move it your direction to the discretionary funds.
That would be great. And I guess I'm envisioning what you just talked about, looking a lot like what we get from USDB, right?
I think so, but I can't speak for the
okay.
SCSB. And yeah, I would.
So I
would
guess
assume
next
I don't
month we'll know
exactly. Right,
will they
yes.
be presenting, someone from them there?
That is my understanding. But I can check on that. That
Okay.
they would they'll starting next month. We just had to wait till the MOU. And
Sure. I understand
through
that.
that,
I
yeah.
just was trying to create a similarity.
ma'am.
It's probably going to be
Yeah.
similar to what we've seen.
That's
Okay.
my understanding. Yes.
Yes,
So-
go ahead to the discretionary. I don't see any
Okay.
hands or anything.
The discretionary funds report is available for your review. As you can see in the bottom portion of the body of the report, we had highlighted in yellow all of the different pending actions. So now, based on your passage of particular requests for use of funds, we'll update the report accordingly to capture your actions related to these requests. Again, highlighted in yellow for your review, so that next month you'll see that those were adopted accordingly, or whatever adjustments are made. We'll make sure that those are in place for next month's discretionary funds report. If you'll just go up to, always try to orient everyone, including the public, to the upper right-hand corner. Remaining balances are what are unencumbered or uncommitted balances. So, and I think this is really important as a key takeaway from your processes and related to HB 84 and what you just did. You're demonstrating that you're on top of your finances, and you as the board are directing use of those towards purposes, right? And what that means is, or translates to, is that the legislature will say, well, or potentially, right? I can't speak for the legislature, is that wow, the board's really taking action and looking at using these funds not just to spend money, but for processes, projects, things like that you deem and you direct as accordingly. So for what it's worth, I think that's really a good demonstration to the public of your fiduciary responsibilities. So I'll just say that. So, ma'am, pending any questions or concerns, Madam Chair, that concludes the discretionary funds report. I will say that for the next item, we request that we give you the revenue update next month, and following the EAC Executive Appropriations Committee meeting on Monday. Dr. Nestor has been ill, and so Sam could do it, but in the interest of time, and we really feel that following Monday's Executive Appropriations Committee meeting and the revenue update that we all get in there, that it would be beneficial to you to have it in the January meeting, so that we can continue that knowledge and that basis of the revenue going right into the legislative session in January too. So
Thank you. And when the legislature says that, would you be reporting that back to us? We're going to be eager for their
right.
enthusiasm about our. Anyways, Board Member Lair.
Scott, if that's okay.
Yes.
A brief question to Scott, if that's okay. So is this the fund that the board compensation comes from?
No, it is not. The discretionary funds are funds that result from year-end closure activities and carry forward balances that are not encumbered. Like, maybe we have leftover funds because.
No, I totally got it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
I'm just saying.
Right.
That, then tell me the name of the fund that the compensation comes from.
It's just your board budget. It's the
That's-
base board budget that your
Gotcha.
compensation
Separate
comes
from
from.
this.
Yes,
Thanks,
ma'am.
Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I'm not seeing anything else. Okay, so we are December. Oh, you're saying, okay, gotcha. We don't have anybody. Okay, so the next thing would have been the December economic update, but we've got some staff sick and other things. So, nope, I think we're good. Unless anybody, you're all, this body's good with that? Okay.